Cincinnati.
I learned how to ride a bike here.
It's people.
I had my first crush here.
It's places.
Like my sister had her quinceañera pictures down by the river.
It's stories.
There's like a sense of connection to just the city itself.
But how do you tell a story with no faces?
I have friends who like understand why I like stiffen when I hear a siren.
And with no names.
Like it makes it really hard to live a fulfilled life.
It's still that impediment fear of like, it could happen.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us as 9 on Your Side presents Living in the Shadows. Immigration is a hotly debated topic these days, one that doesn't have an easy answer. We set out to profile one real family dealing with the struggle of no citizenship, of being a so-called dreamer, and of being a citizen, worried about relatives. And because of their very real fears, we're telling their story without showing their faces. And that's where we rely on the creativity of 9 on Your Side cartoonist Kevin Necessary and reporter Breanna Molloy.
This project is something that I've been working on for quite a while. I met a young woman who is an American citizen whose mother and brother are not.
You know, I've lived almost 18 years like this.
They're undocumented. The brother is a dreamer. And it's a story that's been in our national conversation for years.
Secure our borders.
But when I met this young woman, she was talking about aspects of the story and of the lives of undocumented immigrants and their family members that I'd never heard of. It was the small details, things that you just wouldn't, think of that get lost in that larger conversation. And I wanted to bring that to light.
So the story starts with the family coming illegally from Mexico.
Right here, you can see, the dad moved his family to work on Paul Brown Stadium. So they came here to Cincinnati so he could work construction.
Yo quería que mis hijos estuvieran con su papá.
And they lived here for a couple of years, but things just kind of went downhill. The father got into alcohol and drugs and became physically abusive with his wife.
Y siento que esa mujer fue una mujer débil, una mujer tímida, una mujer miedosa.
And he would threaten to leave her, and eventually one day he did. And she was abandoned here in Cincinnati.
Porque tampoco sabía cómo hacer un pago de un bill, ni cómo hacer un pago de una renta. No sabía ni cómo ir a la tienda.
It's like learning how to walk and having no one around to teach you how.
So then the family, they lose their apartment, they don't have an income.
Pues para mí fue muy difícil el empezar de cero.
So mom was entirely reliant on dad, on her husband.
My mom didn't know how to, she didn't have a job, so she didn't know how to pay rent. So we had gotten evicted.
But through all of this, the mom, she's really undergoing this inner transformation.
Yeah.
How do you portray something like that through a comic book?
That was really tough. So the scene that I created was that the two of them are on the bus ride home, and the mother, Alana, is looking out the window, and she sees her reflection. And I have her reflection kind of change to that of the father, because She was living in her husband's shadow the entire time.
Hoy lo veo así como un sueño triste.
And she also, is looking out the window and she, sees that there's no future for herself back in Mexico.
Porque yo nací y me crié en un rancho. Y ahí nací, ahí me crié y solamente estudié el 6º grado.
And so I represented that with her just looking out the window and not seeing any reflection at all. And, it's in that period where she, just gets this, self-determination that, no, she's going to give not only herself a better life, but she's going to give her children a better life.
And that's just the beginning of Elena's transformation. From here, her family described a determination that only grew stronger.
No matter what has happened, she's always come out on top.
In Elena's words, she tried to fly. And you are going to see how just ahead as 9 on Your Side presents Living in the Shadows. You're watching Living in the Shadows, one immigrant family's experience as a father abandoned them in the United States. Mom, Elena, didn't speak English and didn't even know how to pay a bill. Eventually, they lost their home.
Hoy lo veo así como un sueño triste.
But she didn't give up, and now we continue her transformation, her determination to provide for her family.
Ahora lo veo como un sueño, como una mujer que no tenía fuerza, pero tuvo que agarrar a sus hijos y tratar de volar.
And the rest of the chapter is her, getting a job, actually getting 2 jobs. She sells Mexican food to construction sites. She starts selling beauty products.
No matter what has happened, she's always come out on top.
She learns how to pay her bills. She eventually gets an apartment. And, she knows that she can provide her kids a future.
Aprendí que una mujer así puede superarse, no importa la educación que traiga, no importa de dónde venga, no importa su estatus ni su economía. No importa nada de eso, solamente los deseos de salir adelante.
So I guess my question now is, this is real life. This is something that's actually happening. There's no perfect ending to it.
Right.
So how do you end a story like this?
The ending is probably the trickiest part. I wanted to talk about the kinds of fears that these kids have and the experiences that they go through that other people didn't have to go through.
It'll be one of those days where I'm not thinking and I won't ask who it is. And I'll just open the door. And it'll be someone from ICE.
That the coolest and most relaxing feeling is hearing them come through the door, because you know that they made it home. And so at least for the next few hours, you know for sure that they're not going to get picked up.
There was a lot about their childhood that was similar to the childhoods of other kids here in Cincinnati.
When people ask me where I gone to school, I automatically say my high school.
The hatred for Steelers. I'm not a big football fan, but I know I don't like the Steelers.
Yeah, that's a hard part. As you said, it's there really is no end. They are in this state of uncertainty. They don't know what's going to happen to them. Could the mom be deported? Yes. Could DACA run out? Yes.
We see our friends being deported. It becomes more like it could happen.
There's no definitive end, so I had to find an emotional end. And, stepping out of the shadows, allowing themselves to tell the story, I think that is, probably the best ending I could probably hope for.
My hope is that we can be able to live and work outside of the shadows.
And I decided how I'm going to end the video story too.
And just ahead, you'll see that big reveal, including plenty of tears over the life that jumped off the panels of this comic. Stay with us for more of Living in the Shadows. Welcome back as 9 on Your Side presents Living in the Shadows. Now, to this point, you've seen a family come to America from Mexico. When the father leaves, the mom is left struggling to support her family in Cincinnati. And there is fear, but there is also determination. For journalists Breanna Molloy and Kevin Necessary, the end presented another challenge.
There's no definitive end, so I had to find an emotional end.
And you know, I decided how I'm going to end the video story too.
Oh yeah?
Let's show the family your comics.
We thank you for watching as 9 on Your Side presents Living in the Shadows. We've documented one family's experience living in 3 different stages of immigration. Now, as I say goodnight, there's only one thing left. Watch as this mom, brother, and sister see all of Kevin's work for the first time.
Let's show the family your comics.
I'm feeling very nervous right now. So, hi.
So, este es el primer capítulo.
Oh.
It's AWL.
You really depicted her as a nerd.
With this part, I wanted to show, just her like gaining the confidence, the story that you told me.
Los momentos más difíciles que pasaron.
It's like revisiting the hardest times of your life.
I was trying not to be a blubbering mess at some points.
It's helped me a lot to see it kind of like take life in a different perspective.
Y ahí fue donde yo me di cuenta que
that's where I realized that the stories have a lot of power. ¿Te acuerdas en la casa?
I guess I felt like I, hopefully had told the story well enough that it resonated with her, and hopefully it'll resonate with others.
There are many more people with stories just like this one living in our communities. To put it into perspective, the Pew Research Center estimates that as of 2016, there were 11.3 million unauthorized immigrants in the United States. There are 690,000 people enrolled in the DACA program right now. Creating Living in the Shadows was a months-long project for comics journalist Kevin Necessary and reporter Breanna Molloy. You can see the complete comic and more of their work right now on WCPO.com.